Boss, it seems really interesting that the number of transactions in the property industry has gone down from an average of 1.6, 1.8 million 10, 15 years ago to around a million, whilst the number of estate agents has doubled, if not tripled. The number of solicitors has also doubled, yet everyone seems to be dropping their pants on fees. Less transactions, lower fees. What's all that about? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the emergence of the offline has come in, changed the game. A lot of the bigger companies are sort of worrying about the market, or the market's not good, the market's this, the market's that. You have to create the market. Yes, there's always as long as there's a market, you can make money. Where there's no market, you're in trouble. So it's also a case of not just that, but so many industries, because of the internet, have changed, and also this fact of Eastern. A lot of people are scared because China has become a massive player, and the way that the Chinese, and I've got tenants that are Chinese, I've done a lot of business with Chinese, and I've got great respect for them, is the fact that their form of due diligence is how much, and everyone else is playing around, messing around, and they're buying the assets, and they're taking chances, and you can see the growth is phenomenal.
Okay, but bring that back to estate agency and solicitors. Surely more competition, less transactions means fees have to go up to compensate, but they've gone down. What's the problem? Is it a fear of agents? Are they not proving worth? You said create a market. Is that a create a market to create worth, or something else?
Well, you've got to retain your existing business and grow it, and you have to be able to come up with innovations.
Interestingly, only 14% of people go back to the original agent when they sell.
Now you're starting to get the...
I mean, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
So really, it just shows that estate agents and probably even solicitors are very transactional in there, and don't carry on building that relationship. But it comes back, that's what you said before. It's all about relationships.
I bought my glasses, different ones from the same supplier, and when I go back to them, I do get a deal. I got a deal from the start. I mean, I get a deal on everything. I'm the broker of brokers. But my belief system is such that when someone's done business with you, they're very important, and you've got to look after them. You've got to facilitate. Now, what's happened as well in the stock market, coming from that industry before the property industry, it's over-regulated. And this is what's going to happen in the property industry.
It's going to be regulated in the next 2 or 3 years.
And then it's not just going to be regulated, it's going to be over-regulated, and that's it. And the reason is because, as I said, the private client, first in the stock market and now in the property business, is going to be wiped out. It's going to be a case of funds. It's going to be a case of...
This must be over decades. It's not going to happen overnight, is it?
Everything happens overnight once it's implemented and there's an agenda evolved. It starts to take shape. What happens is you have a situation in my time, and there's a movie about it coming up later this year, which we are going to be involved in the movie. We'll have a small part in it. And that talks about the late 80s Big Bang and how things were. Well, we made a lot of money for our clients. Personally, some of my clients were buying cars in a few weeks from the commissions and the monies that they were, making when we account traded. If you're going to make a lot of money, you have to make other people a lot of money. It doesn't just go one way. So this is a factor that has now been overcompensated. So all of a sudden they're saying, right, these people in stock market and in property business, they've had it an easy run for too long. Now we're going to put the hammer down. And especially if we're still involved with Europe, it's going to be even worse, because then bureaucracy comes in. And you're afraid, you'll start to say to the client, let me give you a risk warning, sir, madam. And you read this and they say, oh, forget about it. It's your, regulation.
But surely there is an emotional factor with property that stock market doesn't have.
Well, the two are the same in the sense, as I said before, relation to the emotion's gone out. It's now about money and business.
But do you think property has gone from? I still think there's a lot of emotion involved with bricks and mortar, especially when you're dealing with people's homes.
Yeah, but people's homes are still based on the element of, if they can afford it, they're going to live in the best position, the best place. But why are they doing that? Because they're looking for the best growth. They're saying to themselves, what's happening in the future? For example, you've seen a lot of people move from Notting Hill Gate to Islington because prices in Notting Hill Gate in London have doubled, all right? And you can get the same thing for half the price in Islington. So they've said, well, Islington's a lovely place. What's wrong with that? It's central. We don't need to live in Notting Hill Gate. Let's cash in the chips. We'll sort out Johnny and Wendy's, Canary Wharf or wherever they are, or their rental situation, and we'll have some change.
In the next video, I'd like to talk about the London property market in the last 20 years.